Ever felt entangled in a web of intrigue and control? Discover the 6 subtle tricks women might use to keep you under their control. Are you a puppet in someone else's hands? Stay tuned as we unravel the mystery and empower you to reclaim your freedom. Let's find out more. 1. Guilt tripping is a common tactic used in various relationships, not just by women, but by anyone seeking to gain control or power over another person. It's important to note that guilt as a form of manipulation is not gender-specific and can be employed by anyone, regardless of their gender. Guilt tripping involves making someone feel guilty to manipulate them into doing something. This tactic can be subtle and may not be immediately recognizable. It often involves the manipulator suggesting the other person is causing them distress or not living up to expectations. For instance, a person might say, "I can't believe you're going out with your friends tonight. I thought you cared about spending time with me." This statement is designed to make the other person feel guilty about wanting to spend time with their friends, thereby manipulating them into changing their plans. Guilt trippers often use emotional blackmail to get what they want. They might say things like, "If you loved me, you would do this for me." This kind of statement is designed to make the other person feel guilty for not meeting the manipulator's needs or demands. Guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation that can be used by anyone, regardless of gender. It's important to recognize the signs of guilt tripping and take steps to protect yourself and maintain a healthy relationship. 2. The withdrawal method is another one. The term withdrawal method in the context of manipulation refers to a person intentionally distancing themselves or withdrawing their attention or affection to gain control or power in a relationship. This behavior is not exclusive to women and can be exhibited by anyone, regardless of gender. The withdrawal method can take many forms. It might involve a person becoming emotionally distant, not communicating as much, or not being as affectionate as they usually are. The goal is to make the other person feel insecure or obnoxious, leading them to try harder to please the person who is withdrawing. For instance, a person might suddenly stop responding to messages or start cancelling plans without explanation. This leaves the other person confused and anxious, wondering what they did wrong. The person who is withdrawing their attention knows this and uses it to their advantage. It's important to note that everyone needs space and time alone sometimes, and this is perfectly healthy. However, when the withdrawal is used as a tool to manipulate or control, it becomes unhealthy. Recognizing this behavior is the first step to addressing it. Suppose you feel like someone is withdrawing from you as a form of manipulation. In that case, it's important to communicate your feelings and concerns with them. If the behavior continues, consider seeking advice from a trusted friend, family member, or professional. The withdrawal method is a form of manipulation that can be used by anyone, regardless of gender. It involves a person intentionally distancing themselves to make the other person feel insecure or anxious. Recognizing this behavior and taking steps to address it is crucial in maintaining healthy relationships. Remember, everyone deserves respect and open communication in their relationship. 3. The mirroring method is the next one. Mirroring is a psychological tactic that can be used by anyone, regardless of gender, to manipulate or control others. It involves mimicking another person's behaviors, interests, attitudes, values, and emotions to create a false sense of connection and understanding. In the context of manipulation, mirroring is often used to establish a bond with the other individual by creating a false sense of similarity. The manipulator closely observes the target and then imitates their behaviors, interests, attitudes, values, and emotions. Their goal is to make the other person feel like they have found someone who truly understands and connects with them. Another example could be mimicking the other person's speech patterns or body language. If the other person often uses certain phrases or gestures, the manipulator might start using the same phrase or gesture. This can make the other person feel more comfortable and connected to the manipulator. However, it's important to note that mirroring in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural process where individuals unconsciously mimic the behavior and body language of others during social interactions to establish rapport and better connections. It becomes a problem when it's used with the intention to manipulate and control. The key difference between healthy mirroring and manipulative mirroring lies in the underlying intentions and motivations behind the behavior. In healthy mirroring, the intention is to understand and connect with the other person. In manipulative mirroring, the intention is to control or manipulate the other person. Recognizing manipulative mirroring can be challenging, as it can be subtle and not immediately apparent. However, if you notice that someone seems to be mimicking your behaviours, interests, attitudes, values or emotions excessively or insincerely, it could be a sign of manipulative mirroring. 4. The hot and cold method is another important one. The hot and cold method is a psychological tactic that can be used by anyone, regardless of gender, to manipulate or control others. It involves alternating between positive, hot, and negative, cold behaviours to create a sense of uncertainty and insecurity. In the hot phase, the person might shower the other with affection, attention, and praise. They might be extremely responsive, attentive, and seemingly open to communication. This phase is designed to make the other person feel special, valued, and loved. However, this is followed by the cold phase, where the person suddenly becomes distant, unresponsive, and indifferent. They might ignore messages, cancel plans without explanation, or show a lack of interest in the other person's feelings or well-being. This sudden shift from hot to cold can leave the other person feeling confused, anxious, and insecure. They might start questioning their actions, wondering what they did to cause the change in behaviour. The person using the hot and cold method is fully aware of the emotional turmoil they're causing. The uncertainty and insecurity created by their unpredictable behaviour can make the other person more susceptible to manipulation. They might start trying harder to please the person, changing their behaviour in an attempt to return to the hot phase. It's important to note that this kind of behaviour is not healthy or normal in a relationship. It's a form of emotional manipulation and can have a significant negative impact on the other person's mental and emotional health. Find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of what mood the other person will be in. It might be a sign that you're being subject to the hot and cold method. It's important to recognise this behaviour for what it is and take steps to protect yourself. It involves alternating between positive and negative behaviours to create a sense of uncertainty and insecurity. Recognising this behaviour and taking steps to protect oneself is critical in maintaining healthy relationships. 5. The love bombing method is one of the most effective ways. Love bombing is a psychological tactic that can be used by anyone to manipulate or control others. It involves showering another person with excessive affection, attention, and praise to control or exploit them. In the initial stages of a relationship, the person using this method might shower the other with gifts, compliments, and promises of a future together. This stage is often referred to as the bombing phase, where the manipulator creates a fairy tale-like scenario, making the other person feel special and loved. However, this is usually followed by a sudden shift in behaviour. The once attentive and caring partner becomes distant, cold, and even mean. This leaves the other person confused and anxious, wondering whether their partner's feelings were ever genuine. 6. Flattery is the next one. Flattery involves giving excessive or insincere compliments to another person to gain their favour or to influence their behaviour. In the control of manipulation, flattery is often used to make the other person feel special and valued. But wait, there's more to this tale of manipulation. What could the final trick be? Stay tuned. Will you break free or remain entangled? The choice is yours. Comment your thoughts on this and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.